Hello and welcome to my test out video for Easy Hair Pro's brand new Tape Row application. I'm Jenna and I'm from Central Florida and I am a certified Easy Hair Pro trainer, and we are demonstrating the Tape Row application for today. Let's jump right in. So as you can see, I have already pre-sectioned my mannequin slash model here, and I am in zone 2. I am starting here on the non-dominant side, and I am going to have the weft in my non-dominant hand and my comb in my dominant hand. I'm going to use the tail of my comb to smooth the hair as I'm going, working in 1-inch sections. So I'm going to start with the placement here. And I'm going to measure this first. I'm going to take the center back here, and I want to make sure that this weft fits on my client how I want it, where there's no buckling, and I can feel like this lays really smoothly on the head like this. And yes, I do like this. So I'm going to start right here, and I want to stay 2 fingers away from the hairline or the width of my comb. And I'm going to do a comb check here just to make sure you can't see my comb and we like how that looks. We want to stay away from all of those vellus hairs around the front of the hairline to make sure that our weft is completely hidden. I'm going to do that. Clip that out of my way. So I'm starting right around here where there's at least 2 finger width from the hairline. And I'm going to start with the weft in my non-dominant hand again, and then my comb is going to be my dominant hand. And I'm going to take the backing off like this, and I'm only going to take off 1 inch at a time. Resist the urge to take the backing all the way off. I know it's tempting. So I'm gonna take the backing off with my nail. Okay, there we go, I got it. Just 1 inch sections at a time, so I have the most control. Having the control of the weft and the comb and the section is gonna set you up for success with the whole application. So I'm starting right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in at a 45-degree angle, and I'm gonna drop it down from the section 1 length of the panel, this is the panel here. So I'm dropping down 1 length of the panel. So I'm going in at a 45-degree angle, using the tail end of my comb to kind of smooth this down, going in at the 45, dropping down the length of the panel, just kind of tacking that on, just like that. So then I'm going to take the tail end of my comb and I'm going to stabilize this just like this as I peel back my next section. So I'm going to peel the backing off another inch, and then I'm using the tail end of my comb to really smooth the hair down as I go, making sure I'm dropping it down 1 length of the panel, so that way we have plenty of movement left. I'm making sure all of these baby hairs are totally out of my way and moving forward nice and controlled as I'm smoothing down that hair and rolling that weft right on. Smoothing down that hair, rolling that weft, smoothing the hair, rolling the weft. As you can see, this hand is kind of staying still and very gradually moving, and I'm making sure that my hand is anchored right here, and that gives me lots of control as I'm moving along the head. Using my tail comb, smoothing, rolling it on, and then smoothing, rolling it on. I did already heat activate this weft with my flat iron, so I took my flat iron and swiped it all the way down just to activate that adhesive to set me up for success, so ensure this stays for my guest for the next 5 to 7 weeks. I am moving all the way around the head, smoothing, rolling, smoothing, rolling, smoothing, rolling. Making sure all these baby hairs are out of my way. And then I'm going to stop here on this side where I am 2 fingers width away from the hairline here. For sake of this video, I'm not going to cut this left because I don't want to. But if this was a client, I would cut this and trim it to make sure that I am at least 2 fingers width away from the hairline there. I'm gonna leave that there and we're gonna pretend that that is solid. All right, do we see that? I'm gonna kind of just recheck and I'm just gonna tap this on. I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure, but I am tacking it on because when I lift this up, I want it to grab some of the biological hair because that's how it's gonna stay. So I'm just kind of going through smoothing and tacking that on. Next, we're gonna lift up the weft so that we can put the next part on. So I'm gonna take my finger very gently and I'm gonna run it along the bottom here. I'll be able to feel what it is. Feel that biological hair sticking there. And I am gonna take one little section at a time and I'm gonna kind of gathering all this up in my hand as I go all the way around before I flip this baby up very gently, just like that. And now I can see where it has grabbed the biological hair of my guest, and I can start here on this non-dominant side and kind of get all of the hairs that aren't stuck to the adhesive out of my way, and making sure that I have even distribution of the biological hair to reduce tension, making sure we have even tension. Going all the way around, pulling this up and over, pulling all of these hairs, making this nice and neat. Also being aware of where this hair is, making sure it's not falling in their face, making sure it's not sticking to the other side of the adhesive. Trying to work nice and neat as I work my way around. And I'm going to take my clip this up out of my way. Oh, if I can reach my clip that I just put within reach. And I'm going to just gently clip this out of my way, again, making sure that it's not falling in her face, but it's also not falling where any of the adhesive is going to stick to any of the exposed adhesive. Okay, I'm just kind of double checking that all of these hairs are out of the way, that all of this biological hair is evenly distributed among the tape so that we have application through integrity and there's not going to be more tension on one side than there is the other. Then I'm going to grab the next part, and I'm going to do same thing, peel back the backing, and we're going to go over her side here. And again, I'm only peeling back like 1-inch sections, and I'm starting out where I'm putting my finger all the way on the end here to ensure that those 2 wefts are meeting up perfectly together, and I can feel that with my finger on the end. And I'm just tacking it down. Again, I'm not pushing down super hard, but I am pushing down enough to where it will stay in place as I put it there. So I'm gonna do that as I get my handy dandy comb, because I'm using this in smoothing still as I'm going around the head. So I am smoothing these hairs up as I'm pulling them back and just rolling it and smoothing it, rolling it and smoothing it, making sure that that tape is lining up perfectly with the other tape and that I have lots of control. Again, holding this hand kind of anchored against her head as I'm moving along. Smoothing and rolling, smoothing and rolling all the way around. Isn't it cool how quickly I'm doing this? Like, can you imagine doing this in the salon and how quick you can get this full volume transformation? Amazing. Smoothing, rolling, smoothing, rolling. I'm going all the way to the end of my pretend weft that I cut 2 inches away from her hairline. Okay, and then I'm going to just double check how this looks, making sure everything is perfectly aligned. I'm liking the way that looks. If it's not perfectly aligned, I'm going to take it off and redo it because it's application through integrity. Okay, I really like how that is looking. So I'm going to unclip this and very gently pull this back down. Pull that down just like so. How amazingly flat is that laying up against the head? So satisfying. And I'm going through here, I am checking, making sure that these tapes are perfectly aligned and everything looks really evenly distributed. And I think it looks great. So then the final step of this row is I'm gonna give her a nice head massage. I want to activate that adhesive with pressure. I already did it with heat at the very beginning when I did the flat iron against the row, but now I'm gonna do it with pressure. So I'm gonna give her a nice head massage and I'm going all the way to the ends where I am activating that adhesive and giving her a nice head massage, ensuring that to stay for the next 5 to 7 weeks. So in review, we went in with our first panel, we dropped it down the length of the panel so that way we have flexibility so she can wear her hair up even at the day she leaves the salon. So I go in at a 45 angle, we drop it down the length of the panel, we are smoothing and rolling, making sure we have lots of control, smoothing and rolling. We're stopping at least 2 fingers from the hairline, but density is going to dictate that, so it could be more depending on what their hairline looks like. We want to avoid any vellus hairs that happen to be in this like recession area. Then we're going to flip that up. We're going to clean up all those biological hairs, ensure even distribution. Then we're going to take our next weft, line it up with our fingers perfectly. We're gonna smooth and roll, smooth and roll, smooth and roll, making sure that those tape panels are lining up perfectly all the way to the end. We're gonna tack it on slightly so that it stays, but we're not gonna tack it down. We're not gonna add the pressure quite yet. We're gonna pull that down. We're going to check for buckling. We're gonna check to make sure that our tape is good and aligned. And if it is, that's when we're gonna go in with the head massage and really activate that adhesive so that she's good for the next 5 to 7 weeks. And then we have our tape row with a full volume application. Thanks for watching.